Hello everyone, welcome to your partner in education, Agile Rank Mate. Today, in this episode of ICAR training, we're going to be looking at some sample questions from the ICAR examination. So we will look at questions from various subjects and we'll find out how to solve them effectively. So let's start off, shall we? Our first question from biology. Now we have 5 statements related to allopatric speciation. We need to find out the correct answer, the correct set of statements which correctly describes allopatric speciation. So let's look at the 5 statements. Statement 1 says, new species evolve when one or more population of a species becomes separated from the other population of the species due to a geographic barrier. B. Small groups of individuals break off from the larger group and form a new species. Over time, cessation of the gene flow between geographically isolated population leads to a reproductive isolation. Initial stage of allopatric speciation is polymorphism that does not depend on space within a population. As a result of natural selection, geographically separate populations become adapted to local conditions and thus they are genetically differentiated. So, among the 5 statements, which of these correctly describes allopatric speciation? Well, allopatric speciation is based on geography. So, in allopatric speciation, statement A is correct. New species evolve when one or more population of a species gets separated from the other due to a geographic barrier. And because of that geographic barrier, there is no gene flow, there is no reproduction between the two isolated species, so therefore it leads to reproductive isolation. So that means statement C is also correct. And then because of natural selection, the separate population is adapted to local conditions and they are genetically differentiated. So again, statement E is also correct. B refers to a different type of speciation, and in option D, it says initial stage is polymorphism, which does not depend on space, and that's incorrect. So therefore, statements A, C, and E are the right statements for allopatric speciation. So therefore, option B, A, E, and C only is the right option. Now let's look at this question. In organ transplantations, cyclosporin A is used as an immune suppressive agent. We need to find out which organism produces it. Is it Saccharomyces cerevisiae, Trichoderma polysporum, Monascus purpureus, or is it Aspergillus niger? So, if we look at the following options, let's look at what products are created from each of these fungi. If you look at option A, it's Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Saccharomyces refers to this genus of yeast species, and yeast is usually used for making wine, bread, etc. So Saccharomyces cerevisiae is an organism that produces wine and bread because of fermentation. So option A is incorrect. What about option D, Aspergillus niger? Aspergillus is the subtype of fungi which are responsible for mushrooms. However, Aspergillus niger is particularly responsible for creating the black mold found in fruits. It's also used as a secondary metabolite in various bioreactors, so therefore option D again is incorrect. If we look at option C, Monascus purpureus, Monascus purpureus basically leads to red coloration in grains. This is known as rice kernel discoloration. So that means option C is also incorrect. The right answer is option B, Trichoderma polysporum. And its product is what we call cyclosporin A. It's an immune suppressive agent, and it's used in medicine. So option B, Trichoderma polysporum, is the right option. Now let's look at some questions from chemistry. Thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate gives nitrogen and chromium oxide only, nitrogen, water, and chromium oxide only, nitrogen, water only, nitrogen, water, and chromium 2 oxide only. So, how do we solve this question? Well, ammonium dichromate is represented by this formula. NH4 twice Cr2O7. Now when that is heated, it decomposes to form, first of all, there are 2 nitrogen atoms, so that forms N2, which means all of the options, since all of the options have N2, we can safely say that N2 is one of the products that are there. Now, the hydrogen that's left is 8, so you have 8 hydrogen, so the 8 hydrogen reacts with 4 of the oxygen to form 4 water molecules. So water is also a part of thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate. Now what does that mean? It means we can discount option A. Because in option A there is no mention of water as a product. So therefore option A is incorrect. Now if you look at the reactant side, we taken out N2 and water out of it, we still have Cr2O3 left. So that means N2 and H2O only are not the products. So option C is also incorrect. And we take 4 out of, and since the chromium is not touched, the 2 chromium atoms are still the same. It just happens that 4 of their oxygen atoms are transferred to hydrogen. So therefore, it's Cr2O3 as the product, not CrO3. So it's chromium 3 oxide, which is the product that we get, not chromium 2 oxide. So therefore, option B is the right option. The last option, D, is incorrect because it says CrO3 instead of Cr2O3. So the right option is, again, option B, N2H2O Cr2O3 only. So these are the products that that you get from ammonium dichromate. Now the final question for today. Given below are 2 statements. We need to find out the most appropriate answer by finding out which of these 2 statements are true and which of them are false. So, statement 1. Limestone is added as a flux to oxidize silicon and phosphorus in the blast furnace for the extraction of iron. So this is a true statement because limestone is added and it's oxidized to form calcium oxide, and in that process silicon and phosphorus, which are impurities in iron ore, are removed. So statement 1 is a true statement. Now statement 2, we have a reaction given. It's a step in the extraction of iron and it occurs between 900 and 1500 degrees Kelvin. Now the reaction that we have is iron 2 oxide plus carbon monoxide gives iron 3 oxide plus carbon dioxide. So in this particular reaction, now this particular reaction occurs at 400 degrees Celsius in optimal conditions, and 400 degrees Celsius is roughly 673.15 degrees Kelvin. So as you can see, it's nowhere near 900 degrees or 1500 degrees. This particular reaction occurs between the 500 degrees Kelvin to 800 degrees Kelvin range. So therefore, statement 2 is an incorrect statement because the temperature range mentioned here is incorrect. It occurs in the moderate temperature range and not the high one. So therefore, since statement 1 is correct, we can ignore options D and option B. So both of these options say that statement 1 is incorrect, which is not true. However, statement 2 is incorrect, so that means option A is incorrect, because here it says statement 2 is correct, and that's not true. So the right option for this particular question is option C. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. So that concludes this episode of ICAR training. We hope you found this episode interesting. For more of our useful and interesting content, don't forget to subscribe to Agile Rank Mate, your partner in education. If you want to watch more of our educational content that's related to ICAR or other exams, then please don't forget to hit the bell icon present below the video. So until the next webisode, take care, stay alert, bye-bye for now.